Hey there, Blade fans. OG Blade Reviews back with you once again. What's in this ginormous black Boker box on the table? Just enough room to get it in. Well, it is going to be an equally large cutting instrument, and it is by Boker Arbolito, South America, Argentina, made by the Gauchos. Aren't those guys from Argentina? I think so. Well, that is a South American division of Boker USA, and Boker being a German company, many of their blades are made in Germany. I believe they're made all over the place. They've farmed out their work to a lot of places. Anyway, take a look. That was the only way I could do a unboxing on the table. Actually, there's not much to the box. This is what you get inside. And this is 100% gorgeous. I've seen a few reviews on this. There haven't been too many. I would say everybody agrees that it is a beautiful knife. It's an art knife. And they're slowly dropping in price. I think originally they started out about $250 or so. And you can get these a few different places. Two variants. They got a green micarta handle, and they've got this ebony, and I love the ebony. And even though there's some risk with the ebony of getting checks and cracks and so forth over time, I'm happy with it. Also, a fantastic sheath. So let's not diddle around too much. I love the way this comes off. It came with a dangler. I don't have it out on the table, but there is a dangler that easily is removed or placed back on if you choose to have it ride a bit lower and kind of swing around a little bit. I don't, and it isn't that I'm going to be wearing this on the street every day or maybe even out in the woods. I kind of got this because I love the design, and that was the one common thread for folks that reviewed this knife, is that it's going to be, a beautiful knife type keeper for them, and I'll show you why. I first got interested in this because I saw it on the Knife Junkie show, my good buddy Bob DeMarco, and look at this guy. If you look real carefully, maybe you don't have to look that carefully, you see a very subtle recurve in there. And when I first saw that, I said, oh God, they botched the grind. It's not straight. That should be straight. And then somebody in a forum, I think Blade Forums, pointed out, he looked at the sheath and there's the same recurve in the sheath. So it was intentional, a very subtle recurve, which would give you a little more magnification of slicing power on the draw. It's got a very glossy blade of N695 steel. I'd never heard of N695. I'd heard of N690, certainly. And look how thick that stock is. They do have plans. This is July, almost August 2025. They do have plans for bringing this out in something called X390. Never heard of that. But it is a close relative to M390, and that's as much as I know. So with that aside, if you don't care for the steel, a lot of people are saying, well, it would be worth the money if it was in 3V and so on and so forth. 3V not being stainless, I think probably Boker wanted to make something that would be more stain resistant, perhaps. I don't know, but if they do improve the steel, it's going to be even a better knife. I don't think it is a bad choice of steel. People have pointed out that the N690 series is basically 440 steel. What they don't say is that many of your knife steels are variants of 440. That was a starting point for changing the mix a little bit and creating a lot of good cutlery steels, whether it's like AEBL or whether it is Nitro V. I mean, they all kind of harken back to the 440 root. I'm not a metallurgist, so correct me if I'm wrong. And we do have a decent edge. I haven't stropped this up, but I would say you don't necessarily want a hair popping edge, and that did pop a few hairs off my arm, on a Bowie knife, and something this large, 9.5 inches or so, because a very fine edge is going to be depleted, basically dull, very quickly in the field under hard use. And you can argue whether or not this is a hard use knife, but let's look at it as a collector piece. Let's look at it as a well-balanced, lighter than it seems knife of 1/4 inch stock or thereabouts. And something I always love, a tapered tang, because that is extra work, whether you do it on a machine or whether you do it by hand. But what it does is it balances the blade a little bit better. I think we've got a balance. Somebody showed me. I haven't tried it yet. Yeah, right in the choil area. And it is a full choil. You can get your finger in there. Just be careful coming in that you don't nick yourself on the heel of that blade. Nice gradual shallow swedge at the top, long clip, and a forward belly with, again, that very gentle recurve up in here, is that will slice. So not your Bill Bagwell Bowie, not your Moran Bowie. It is not a custom, but it's a great design. I would love to see them do more with this design. Maybe there'll be a 3V version for you steel purists out there. The sheath, the sheaths I've seen in the reviews are just flat, no embellishment. This has a beautiful basket weave. I guess I'd call it a basket weave, yeah, with the Boker tree emblem there. It's nice leather. They did a great job on this sheath for a production knife. Really, really nice. And as I was saying, this stud and loop, that's a great way to have a retainer instead of a snap. Snaps do tend to wear out. I've replaced my share of them. This one, you give it a little pull down and then peel it back and she'll come off. And it does break in more over time. But I don't see it loosening or stretching to the point where it's not going to hold the knife in eventually. Who knows? Time will tell. Some quick measurements. And I might need a tape. Let's use the tape today because it's much larger than even my 12-inch ruler, even. So bringing that tape right up top, and it is 14 3/4 overall. It's 9.5, close enough for the blade length. It is in inches. The handle at the thickest part is 0.93. Don't cringe, you folder lovers. It's not a folder. It's 14 inches long. Yeah, and a 1/4 inch, we'll call that on the blade stock 6.2 millimeters. And the handle, 23 millimeters. Can you see that? 23 millimeters. May not have it correct in the light. Finally, the weight. We'll go without the sheath on the weight. Let's see what we got. It's a lighter Bowie, but it's not going to be light. In ounces, 15.7, we'll call that. And those aren't carats. We don't want carats. We want grams. 444. Play that number. So under a pound, barely. But for a knife this size, I mean, I love the way it feels. Some are saying the handle's a little small. For my hands, which are medium large, I think it's just about right. I do sometimes like a more hand-filling grip, but at least one guy, one reviewer said he thought it was a little thin. This is perfect for me, however. You can see where my fingers just come over it there, and when I snug it up into my palm, she's perfect. So a lot of times you may, if you're thrusting with this knife, you can considering it, you know, a dueling sort of a knife, a Bowie knife, then this is nice too. Holds well there, holds nice in a squared off, more hammer grip. And although I can't put my thumb over the top there, it is, you can get up in here if you want to. For what, I don't know, detail work, what have you, detail fighting knife work. Let me show you some compares, kind of in terms of size. This is a custom, so it's not a fair compare, but this is the Garial. It's kind of a hybrid Garial and Gator by Blackrock Knives. That's Ken Vihikate, custom maker. This is out of 80 CRV2, I'm pretty sure. It's got his usual carbonized kind of blackened blade with his rock patterns. It's a beautiful, beautiful knife. And yeah, that steel is going to be a bit tougher if we keep dwelling on that. And the handle is small on this one. I really wish that he went with a taller handle. It's kind of skinny. I guess we could compare this to one other too that I'll grab in a moment, the Viking Tactics. But, you know, you can't fault Ken on the beauty and the primitive nature of his work without being primitive. I mean, looks primitive, but functions like a modern Bowie knife. And that's a clip-style Bowie. Last one I'll bring out will be the Viking Tactics. Here's one I got recently from North Mountain Blade. This is the Bear Hunt, a Suzuki design, and it is partially custom done, partially hand done. Considerably smaller, but the Loveless fighter design is kind of an offshoot of the Bowie. No, that's not a sharpened top edge, but could be, I suppose, if you had to. I'm not sure that we always need a sharpened top edge. And also in terms of cascading sizes, we have the FMF from TKL, Frogman Field Knife. And one of my favorite smaller Bowies, and when I say small, it's like still 5.5 inches. So, you know, it ain't tiny by any means. Let's see if I can find that one more knife that I was talking about. Took a little bit of digging, but here is the VTAC, Viking Tactics Norseman by, I think it was designed, I always forget the guy's name, Lamb, Kyle Lamb. Not, well, you could call it, it's not really a Bowie because we've got this this sloping top spine rather than a clip or an upturn. See if we can make a little room here. There we go. So smaller than the Garial and definitely smaller than the Boker Arbolito El Gigante. Still a large knife. And this is another one where I have a problem with kind of the skinny handle. Much more so than the Boker. You can see the height of the handle. We got a pretty good height there. It is for me. So as they say, your mileage may vary, right? There they are, all of them for the parting shot. So hope you enjoyed this look at the Boker Arbolito, made in Argentina, N695, and the El Gigante. There is a shorter version of this. They got another name for it. It escapes me at the moment. But again, should you like that design, they are going to up the steel very soon. Stay tuned. Click on that logo right now. You'll be able to subscribe and be notified when new vids drop on OG Blade Reviews. Be well, take care, stay safe.